Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Hola, how are you? Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm Carmen Milagro. Buenas noches. Welcome to Confidence Strategies with Carmen Milagro. That's me. I'm your host. I am really excited that you're here with me today. It is the third Tuesday of the month, so naturally that means it's time for Confidence Strategies with Carmen Milagro. I had a funny feeling a few months ago that perhaps my guest was not going to be able to make it. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and just kind of bide my time here a little bit. We'll see what happens. If not, you put in all these weeks and months of effort and coordination and you follow up and sometimes things just don't happen. That is the nature of the beast when you are doing these live webisodes with guests from across the nation, from the East Coast, and time differences and scheduling and miscommunication may happen. That is probably what happened today. So I'm just going to, once again, give it a little bit of time. In the meantime, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for those of you that do join us every month on the third Tuesday. I'm hoping that you are indeed celebrating and embracing the Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations. And if you want to chime in and let me know what you're doing to celebrate this month, that'd be great. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. Say hi, just pop in on the Confidence Strategies page and allow StreamYard to let me see your name, because if you write a comment without authorizing StreamYard to let me see your name, I don't know who it is that's writing to me. So anyway, yes, it is a little after 7 o'clock, and I'm curious, what does Hispanic Heritage Month mean to you? To me, it means an opportunity to leverage our culture, our accomplishments, our community, and to highlight really good stories, which was what was supposed to happen today. Again, it may be just that she's running a little bit late, and I am hoping that that's the case. But if not, this will be a short live, and we will either reschedule or try again later on. We're just going to do the best that we do. That's life. Sometimes things go according to plan, and other times they don't. So it's about the attitude, I think, and it's about the understanding and the acceptance of these are very much just things that happen with lives. So I can see that someone's on, but unless you authorize, I cannot see who you are. Unless you go to Confidence Strategies on Facebook and go ahead and give me the authorization, then you'll pop up on the stream here. But if you want to chime in and let me know what Hispanic Heritage Month celebration traditions, what are you doing to embrace this call to action and to highlight our culture? One thing that I do want to sort of review with you, for those of you that haven't seen the show before, unfortunately, usually I have a guest, and I do apologize for that. And if we have to reschedule, we will do that. But typically, what we're trying to do with Confidence Strategies is to share stories, and it's all about positivity. It's about living in purpose, living in giving back to the community, whatever community that is, whether you're the artist community or the entrepreneurial community, whether you are an advocate for your particular city or your particular business or your industry. These are the stories that I like to share. People doing good work, people sharing their knowledge and their skills, people helping other people. That's what confidence strategies is all about, is how do you have the confidence and where do you get the tools and your arsenal, your kit for doing the things that you do. And sometimes we want to inspire, we want to engage with you. We are hopefully sometimes providing you with tools and resources and options. And sometimes our guests, share their personal triumphs, their challenges, and their tips, their pro tips. I do want to really, kind of share with you some of my viewpoints from time to time, like I'm doing now. I don't want to encroach on people's beliefs, but I do share some of my stories and some of my own personal viewpoints. That's what the show is also about. So for me, as I mentioned earlier, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month is very important. I think that it allows us to connect, reconnect. It allows us to see what others are doing from our community. I also acknowledge that there are some, what I would call some not so cohesive messages out there. Some people, in fact, this might be something you want to comment on. Some people have an issue with using the term Hispanic. Some people prefer Latinx. Some people prefer Latinos or Latinas. I'm curious, why do people prefer one option? What do you think? What does it mean to you to be Hispanic or Latino or Latinx? I'll be very frank with you. I still struggle with the Latinx label. First of all, I don't really like labels all that much, so I always struggle with them anyway. But Latinx, it's probably because of how old I am and how new that label is. I do struggle with it. It doesn't feel natural to me. Well, hi Veronica. Thanks for tuning in again. I appreciate you being here. What do you think about using these different terms? Which one do you feel more comfortable with? Share. I'm really curious. Again, for those of you that have tuned in and have never seen the show, typically by now, I'm, reading the bio for the guest, and we have typically on the show, we have a guest. But tonight, I'm hoping that she will make it. I don't know what her schedule is. I don't know if she's traveling. I know she's super busy. So I'm trying to buy some time. But, we do appreciate when you like our video, when you comment, when you share, when you engage. That is always appreciated. And by the way, as always, when we have these webisodes, our main sponsor is Music City San Francisco. It's one of the projects that I work with, and they have been gracious enough to sponsor this educational component. Now, some people might say, well, what does confidence strategies have to do with music? Well, the correlation is that as an artist and a musician, it takes a lot of confidence to do what you do. So I have had in the past guests like Tommy Grasso from New Jersey and Will Calhoun from Living Color. He's the drummer for Living Color. I've also had Tony Coleman, who was the drummer for B.B. King for over 30 years. And these artists and musicians also share with us those confidence strategies that they use to be on the road, to pursue their goals and their dreams and their passions. So it all ties together in business and art as far as I'm concerned, because I do consider myself an entrepreneur artist. Hello, Dr. Kim Jacobs. Martin, thank you for tuning in. I am happy that you are joining us. I know it's a little bit late for you, but thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate, and I get excited when I see names that I recognize of friends and colleagues and supporters. You have no idea how much that means. And, You have no idea how nice it is to know that I'm just not just talking to myself when these situations come up. I'd like to say that I'm always prepared for when a guest doesn't make it, but the truth of the matter is that I'm not. So I'm just kind of winging it tonight. It looks like it'll be a pretty short live tonight, but it's always nice anyway to say hello. And, I'm always open as well if you have some ideas about some guests for the future that you would like to see on Confidence Strategies. Someone that you may know or that you admire, if you send me a direct message or here or on Facebook, I'd really appreciate it. We'll try to get them on the show. Right now, I'm pretty much booked through the end of the year, so I'm already booking for 2022. I might as well take advantage of this time while I've got you and I've got your full attention. I am happy to announce that I've got another project coming probably by fourth quarter of this year. I have been offered an opportunity to do another show, and that show is going to be called From the Ground Up, and we're going to tackle all kinds of topics with all kinds of artists and celebrities. It will only be airing on millionaireflix.com, and more information on that is coming. Veronica, I want to share with you what you just typed in. You say, and oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know, Veronica Penagos is also a leadership strategist, a leadership coach. So she knows what she's talking about. Let me see here. Let me finish reading what she wrote. Confidence is something to strive for in all industries. Agreed, 100%. Sports, speaking, leadership, training others, working with kids, and so many more environments, jobs, music, singers. In every industry, strategies are great to share. Yes, they are. Thank you, Veronica. And I'm always so grateful when you have some input and when you write to me and share your ideas. And also, of course, the reason that I do these interviews, typically with guests, it's because I always learn something new with every single guest that comes on the show. Hi, Jen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm very excited about the new show From the Ground Up. And hopefully I will have more details for you soon. Again, it will only air on millionaireflix.com. So I'm super excited about that opportunity. And I've got other projects that I'm going to be sharing with you as well. I cannot thank you all enough for tuning in and for bearing with me. I think we'll probably go for a couple more minutes, just like on meetings and appointments. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I usually have a 15-minute window for people to show up. I'm sure that tomorrow or this evening, I'll get a message from my guest explaining what happened, and then we'll go from there. No hard feelings. I know that things happen, and sometimes they just happen during your live. That is kind of the thing that keeps things kind of exciting, and you just never know what's going to happen on a live. Do I wish that I had more prepared for this? Absolutely. But I'll tell you one of the reasons why I don't. And for me, it is a strategy. It does correlate to how I prepare for being on stage. Is I always assume the best. I do prepare a little bit for the worst. So the preparation in this case wasn't, a script, but it is the ability to have confidence in myself to just wing it. Because quite honestly, it is really fun for me to see if I can handle these stressful situations, because there is a stress involved. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, it's like being on stage and the power goes out and you don't have a microphone. What do? Do you panic? Do you become a deer in the headlights? No. At least not me. And I can tell you for sure that that doesn't happen to me, because those things have happened during a show. And so I know that I can handle these situations, and I'm always kind of curious to see how I'm going to do it. It's a bit of a surprise for me, but that is a strategy. So for artists, a lot of times you have to be able to be comfortable and confident to improvise. As a speaker, the same thing. As a trainer, as a coach, sometimes things do not go as planned. So the more confident you are in these situations, the more you're able to handle them and just kind of hopefully gracefully go on, say what you have to say, make your point, wrap it up, which I think I'm going to start doing in a little bit, unless some of you have anything else to add. Oh, thank you, Veronica. Embrace others' knowledge and skills. 100%. That was one of the first things that my first music teacher taught me about being an artist, about being a performer. And that's really what I'm doing here. So one of the things that she taught me from the get-go was sometimes the best laid plans are going to fail. So what do you do? Where do you draw from? For me, she taught me to draw from my instinct. She taught me to draw from my confidence, and she taught me to just get on with the show. So even though this is not going to be a full webisode, I hope that there are some tips that you picked up in these 15, 17 minutes. Oh, wait, Claudia is here. Oh, excellent, excellent. I'm so glad. I'm so happy.
Sorry. I am so absolutely sorry. I had a Hispanic Heritage Month event, opening event here in Dallas that literally went just forever. So I want to apologize for this incredible delay.
Absolutely no worries. You had me go through an exercise that I hadn't gone through in a while. So thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. So listen,
I mean, welcome. Bienvenida, bienvenida. ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien, with a lot of hope about what we're about to see, with a lot of enthusiasm to see every time more people that want to unify their voices, for our Latino community to be, like moving from invisible to visible and from negative to positive. More and more Latinos that are going for Latino pride and Latino unity, supporting each other. We produced a toolkit for Hispanic Heritage Month so that everybody could be equipped with data, with messaging, with assets, and so that we can take this opportunity to set the record straight.
Yes.
And it's working. We have more than 150 companies that are using it. We have hubs all across the country activating and bringing more and more people just to discover the secret that Latinos are positive contributors to the country, that our time is now, and that we're going to be able to really be the last generation of Hispanics that is ever going to have any sense of, like invisibility or lack of opportunity. And we're really, really, really close to opening the door for the next generation to be fully seen, fully heard, fully valued, fully paid. But we just have to take action. And we have to endure being the generation that is in transition, that takes the process, that just knocks even more doors. So let's not give up and just finish the job.
Right. And Claudia, thank you so much. I was just saying to our viewers that are joining us right now live, and of course we will have this webisode goes across many different platforms, Apple Podcasts, et cetera, Spotify. So I was asking, what does Hispanic Heritage Month, mean to them? And thank you for just expounding on that. I did not get a chance to really give them your background. I want, of course, in the post and in the leading up to tonight's interview, I did mention that you are the founder of the Hispanic Star. You're the founder of We Are All Human. You're a global strategist. So I was wondering, for those that don't know what all of that is, if you could give us your, like Reader's Digest version, because we're going to dive in a little bit deeper, but just to get back on track so that everyone who's watching understands what you do and why you do it.
I am. Like I've been my entire life, I've been a marketer, and I set up master plans. That's pretty much what I've done my entire life. Whether it's working for the United Nations, UNICEF, the World Economic Forum. Um, and so I moved to America 7 years ago and realized that Latinos have all the potential. They have all the power, but we just don't know it. And we just don't know enough ourselves, and we really have a perception problem and a marketing problem. And so, as a framework, trying to solve two problems: the unity of the Hispanic community that is so fragmented that we don't have a shared agenda, we don't get organized. You see, if you start looking at other movements, Black Lives Matters, it's, like people get organized around it. LGBTQ, if you start looking at all the movements all across history, they start pretty much in the same vein, having a small group of people that share a dream and share a goal. And I don't think that I found it when I moved to the States. I didn't think that people were clear on what is our agenda and how do we support each other and how do we advance each other. And so Hispanic Star was a creation trying to solve the lack of unity of the Latino community, the fragmentation of Hispanics, and also addressing the incredible problem of marketing that we have, trying to solve that, like that we have to move from invisible to visible, from negative to positive, and from takers to makers. So we created a symbol that.
Uh-oh. What happened to the sound? I'm sorry, Claudia. Oh, there you are.
Pretty much, pretty much a symbol to unify us all, and a platform to showcase our contributions, and a framework for companies, so that they can really engage genuinely with the Latino community as employees, as community, and as consumers. So we have a number of instruments that are there to advance representation, perception, and unification. And we have more than 250 companies that have said, yes, I'm going to move and create more inclusive environments. We have more than 30 Hispanic Star hubs all across the country saying, yes, I want to support each other. We have 100 Latino organizations and leaders behind the Hispanic Star Alliance so that we can have a shared dream, the dream to be seen, heard, and valued. And I know that we have opportunities like this, like Hispanic Heritage Month, so that we can all sing from the same song sheet and sing from the same song sheet together so that we can break through the noise.
Right, absolutely. I was introduced to your organization by my friend Jesse Martinez, and I was in awe when I started reading, and I went to your website. I went to the Hispanic Star website, and I read what you were doing. In the middle of the pandemic, you decided to create this movement, and I was like, I'm in. Even if I can only participate, in a small way, como un grano de arroz, como decía mi mami, pero algo quería ser yo parte de este movimiento. I really was so impressed and drawn in. You put together this beautiful book, the first issue, and out of all those stories, I was chosen to be in this book. I cried, Claudia, when I received the email. So on a personal level, thank you for wanting my story, but on a global, like a national level, I am also so grateful that you thought to do this. Where did this inspiration for this book come from? And I understand you're doing another book, and it's something that's ongoing. Yes.
Yes. No. I mean, like the thing is that we don't have a reality problem. We're wonderful Latinos. We just have we have obstacles that we have to overcome. Well, we're beautiful, and we're making this country what it is, and we're driving the American dream. And so, what we really need to do is provide the visibility platforms for everyone to know who we are, that we're stars of media like you, stars of like stars of astronomy, academia, architects. We're positive contributors to the country, and we just need to have that platform and mobilize everyone so that we can together remove that huge cloud that is covering our shine. We're stars, Hispanic stars, and we've been shining all along since the 16th century. We just have something huge covering us. Not even ourselves, we realize how much we're shining. And so I say that this is the time to do it. This is the time to finish the job that our ancestors started of getting us to be so ready, so powerful, so, like so huge as what we are. So let's just like join forces, move the agenda so that Latinos can actually have the opportunities that we deserve, so that we can be valued for what we are, so that we can be paid for what we work. And this is a time, the dam is breaking, the water is leaking, it's happening. The only question is whether everybody wants to have their hands on the wall when it breaks. So join, take action, be a factivist, learn the data about Latinos, engage at the local level, join people, support each other, open the door for each other, mentor each other, and get as many people as possible to become allies to support us in this transformation to reach our full potential once and for all. We owe it to our ancestors, and we owe it to the next generation. So I say, let's do it.
I love it. Thank you. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I thought this would be so perfect to talk to you in September during Hispanic Heritage Month, because one of the things that I talk about, this show is about sharing stories across the board. But the idea is for us to all elevate one another, right? To share the stories, share the lessons, share the knowledge, share resources, because I want to shine, I want to thrive, I want to grow, and together as one race. So that's where I felt like this alliance, we're doing two different things, two different ways, but with a common purpose. And that's why I was so excited when you were able to join us and you said that you were going to be available today. I was like, yes, because I know you're so busy, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it.
No, of course not. But Carmen, here's the thing. The thing is that all the conditions are given for us to win this last battle.
Yes.
We just have to take it.
Yes.
We just have to do it. So use opportunities like Hispanic Heritage Month to elevate the voices, to tell the stories, to share the data, and take every opportunity that is out there. So do not even think of like, oh, Cinco de Mayo is not Independence Day and let's correct everybody. It doesn't matter. As soon as we can grab a microphone, grab it and start talking about Latinos and start talking about Latinos as positive contributors to the country. That is the way it will happen. That is the way. If we all become factivists, if we all become ambassadors of our community, it will happen. Right. This is on us. We can do it. It's not like the biggest of the challenges, right? We're not saying like, let's solve global poverty. I mean, we're just like about inspiring ourselves. Getting Latino unity and Latino pride is something we can do. Getting allies on board is something we can do. Absolutely. Talk to everybody. Take someone with you. Mentor someone. It's on us. We can do it. So let's do it.
Right. Individually, together, but also the way that I see this is it starts from within our personal selves. It goes out to our community. And then guess what? It's a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect, because if we're able to, champion our own community, then we are better equipped to champion others.
Exactly.
Others. but it starts from within. I'm fascinated by the fact that I did not realize, and I think I heard you correctly a few minutes ago, that you said you came to the U.S. 7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and so to me that is mind blowing because I would have thought that you had been here much longer. How do you now? And I'm kind of getting more into your personal story, if you don't mind. But how do you find, or did you find that confidence to say, I'm going to start this movement? And where does that confidence come from? Do you have someone that has been your inspiration, that has been your champion, that allowed you to take this on and say, I'm going to do it?
Oh, I mean, like, no, I mean, like, it's, look, I mean, like, there's a couple of things there. The first one is I have the confidence because I've seen it with communities that have nothing compared to what we have to thrive. I've been working for 25 years in all across the world, and I've seen literally communities come out of nothing and thrive and flourish and being respected and being paid and have economies that thrive. So, man, we can do this totally. Like, we have all the conditions to succeed. So I'm absolutely confident because it's almost like, like if you're with your kid or something, and he's saying like, I don't know whether I can learn how to ride a bicycle, and you're like, I know it feels weird, but you will do it. I've seen many other people learn, right?
Right, right.
Like, we can do it. So it's like, it's done. Let's you have to just do it and start, and it's like, and then you will learn, and then it's gonna happen. I mean, for me, the transition to the work I'm doing right now was not easy. I was, like, I knew all my life that I wanted to do social good. I've been doing that forever, and I've been very blessed to be able to, like, use my voice, to bring attention to things that people don't see. And that is something that I learned really early on, that was something that I could do. Um, but then, like, the transition to being the pilot of my own agenda, that was hard. I had a past where my father was a civil engineer, and in Mexico, so he would take me to see his highways. And so from Mexico to Acapulco or Ixtapa or whatever it is, and so on. And he always told me what a great co-pilot I was. Like, oh my God, you're such a great co-pilot. And like 5 years ago, I looked at my resume, and I've been the right hand of someone my entire life. And I just didn't realize that even without intention, my father had no intention of hurting me in that sense. He just told me my best role was to be a co pilot. And I did that all my life. And all of a sudden, when I decided, like, wait, but my daughter is a Latina, I want to lead a change for this. I don't want her to, like, because of my choice of staying in America, I don't want her to make half of the salary or have smaller dreams. And and I was like, oh, I have to become a pilot if I really want to do this, and that was hard. Breaking your own voices, breaking, like, your own phantoms, breaking your own limitations culturally and social limitations that we come, like, that come inherent to our community, something that is hard. And then understanding what are the voices that are dictating your fears and the things that you have is something that all of us have to, I think, take a moment and identify if there's something stopping me. Is there any voice that I learned? Like, is there any, like, you're a great co-pilot that happens in your life, right? So you do it. So no, it took me a while, and like, from being surrounded by massive organizations, having 6,000 colleagues, and all of a sudden to starting my own non-for-profit, and like, no business experience whatsoever. Like, always being a mafalda, that was hard. The first year that I set up We're All Human, we went down, we went bankrupt, and so I had to tell everybody to, like, that we had to close it.
Right.
I just didn't know. I just, like, didn't know, and we ran out of money, and we couldn't continue. And the team actually just, like, said, no, what we're doing is important, and we're gonna stay. And so that gave me the confidence that if I didn't trust me, but they trust me, I just needed to pay back and try again. And so here we are.
Right. And sometimes we're motivated by adverse conditions. So if that is something that, you know, we may be encountering in our personal life, in our professional life, sometimes that is the fuel. I think it's a mindset. Would you agree with that? What would you advise to someone who, let's say they're starting a business right now and they are coming across situations? I mean, COVID has wiped out so many across the board, has wiped out so many businesses. Sometimes people just need to hear stories like you because, people make a lot of assumptions about successful people. They assume that it was handed to them. They assume that it was an easy road. This is why these conversations to me on this show are so important, because I never would have known what you just shared with us, right? So would you say to, let's say your daughter, would you say to her, sometimes that challenge is your fuel, or would you say to her, like, what would you say to her if she were to come to you?
I mean, like, there's in my organization, we celebrate failure. And I think that we do it because of the values we have. So if you want to be a fearless, innovative, kick-ass organization, it's a natural consequence that you're going to fail, because you're not going to stop and think of everything. You're going to take risks, and you're going to, so we had to actually adapt the culture so that we're risk takers, and that means that we fail a lot, but we try a lot. And when like when we try and hit, we hit home runs. And
Right.
so we're in that game. And I think that the culture has to adapt. But like, as a business owner, I would say, for me, being able to understand that Latinos are so resourceful and so resilient, and that all we need are, oh my God, the lights went off. That all we need are opportunities, for all we need are opportunities to access capital, to get better financial literacy, to get mechanisms that help us to fulfill the rounds of family and friends seed funding that we need. Like, that we need absolutely to have a more intentional network of support, so that we can build that social structure that pushes upward mobility. Let me just turn on the light. Yeah, there you go.
No, absolutely. And I also am a realist. I'm very pragmatic. I'm very practical. I also know that part of, from my experience and what I have seen, part of our challenges as a community isn't just the fact that, sometimes we doubt ourselves and we don't know how to pivot and we don't know how to start again. But one of the challenges that I've also seen, and you touched on this as well, is this: it's that lack of unification. And what I mean by that is sometimes we can't even agree on what what descriptive word to use for ourselves. What do you say to those folks that get so hung up on, I'm not Hispanic, I prefer Latinx, I'm Latino? Like, to me, that's just kind of a moot point.
Look, I mean, like, the reality is that I didn't know that I was a Hispanic until I moved to America. I lived my entire life as a happy Mexican. I never knew that there was a thing called Hispanics. So when I started looking into it, and I was very intrigued, and I have to say I was very happy, because, like, after living 25 years in places where you are true minority, so in Austria, in Germany, and Switzerland, and so on, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to belong to the largest
Right?
group. People are going to, like, put on the red carpet for me when I come, because we're Hispanics. We're so many. This is so awesome. But in reality, it didn't feel that majority. And I started getting into understand, like, what is this Hispanic thing?
Mm-hmm.
And it's an invention. Like, someone actually, in a pretty racist way, created that term. We were marked in the border and in the census as M's or OTMs, Mexicans or other than Mexicans. And someone just like pretty discriminatorily just like said, that's too complex. They all more or less look the same. Let's call them Latinos or Hispanics. So when you know that, you're like, who the who the freak cares? If you're Latino or Hispanics, let's give it meaning. Let's just make it mean something. If they give you lemon, make lemonade. And so for all the people that have an attachment to certain, like certain words, perfect, use it, feel free, attach to it, sleep with a word, no worries, like print it in colors. But let's focus on the big thing, which is the
Right.
bigger thing is that we're not paid. We're not, we're not respected enough. And so we have to take every opportunity to talk about like this community, regardless of how you want to call it, it's fine. And let's take every opportunity. So if you're getting too hung up into small pieces, then you might lose the big picture. As long as you don't lose the big picture,
Exactly.
like debate as much as you can, whatever you want. I do think that there's value in
Discussion.
debating and
Right.
discussing identity, background, roots, where we are, how we are. You see, I see it with my Jewish community friends. They come into a place and they're like, my grandfather was from Germany, Russia, this one, that one, this year, how I get into the country. It's an interesting way to see your roots. And that doesn't deny that is that Jewish, like it's a community that supports each other. So I think that there's a lot that we have to learn from, like from being enriched by the conversation without losing the sight, which is we have to support each other in order to move forward.
Right. 100%. And I think that that's part of the beauty about finding your voice is saying now, and I don't mean challenging or dismissing someone else's viewpoint, but just find your voice. Acknowledge that this is what you want to be called, this is the label that you prefer, whatever it is, but be respectful of everyone else's viewpoint. That to me is unity.
It's in a way for me that's a little bit if we would be debating if we would be debating like, the rainbow of the LGBTQ is with capital R, or is it like, it's, I mean, that the point is acceptance and pride, right? That's the point. And so what like in a way, what I think that I would like to leave you with in this sense is it is happening. The change is imminent. The dam is breaking. There are instruments and tools that we have available, and that makes it a window of opportunity for all of us to be able to act. We have a symbol like the rainbow for the LGBTQ that we can all take and adapt so that we can feel proud. So when you see it, you feel that's good for me. That's good for Latinos. We have a corporate pledge that we have all the Hispanic organizations together. We have backed it up and put it in front of corporate America. More than 26 Hispanic organizations of the largest statute have been backing the Hispanic Star, and it's signed by more than 250 companies. And that is great, and that's a great instrument. So if you or any one of your listeners is working in a company, just check out whether they have made a promise to your community within your employees. Check out whether you want to invite companies to sign the Hispanic promise, to make a promise to hire, promote, retain, and celebrate Latinos in the workplace. If you're in anywhere, in any like high concentrated area in the States, join Hispanic Star hubs. Be part of the like the education, become a factivist of our community, become an ambassador for our community. If there's no hub in your city, create one. Help your companies to create more inclusive, like more Hispanic friendly cities so that more Latinos can move into different cities. And be honestly, be sure that we have all the conditions to succeed, that corporate America is waking up, that there's no way that as an employer you can, as a company, you can hire or sell without Latinos, that there's no way a politician can win without Latinos. So be confident that this was going to happen, but we have to act. Right. And we have to act now, and we have to act together. So that would be my message for all your audience, and I am again very, very sorry for being so late.
No. This is absolutely fine. It's alive and it's organic, and it sometimes best nuggets come out of, this whole thing. It's just, that's what's most important. Before I let you go, I know that you are probably trying to head home and get some rest and all of that. What is, I suspect I have a pretty good feeling, but I have this notion. But what is the legacy, the message that you want to leave for your daughter's generation? And how can people become? I know we have a Hispanic Star Hub here in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Jesse Martinez.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, there you go. See? And but what is that message for the overall legacy that you have decided to create?
My daughter, your daughter, everybody's daughter should not even know that we struggled. That, like, probably we should talk about it in historic terms, the way that our parents and our mothers and grandmothers, we saw them coming with bleeding hands, taking 2 to 3 jobs, so that we can be the first generation of people that go to college, so that we can be the first doctor in our family, so that we can be the first, like in so many things that we're doing. And I think that in their wild dreams, probably they imagined that one day their sacrifices were going to pay off. And that day is today. And I think that what I would say is possible is that our kids will no longer have to even know what it feels to be, like treated as a second class citizen, or having some sort of rejection, of having some sort of like inequality of salary. And I really hope that that is the legacy that all of us, not me, all of us that take the call, that accept the call, are going to see. We're going to be part of the history of changing for good the way in which Latinos can be visible.
That's so beautiful. I mean, she's so lucky to have you as her champion for this. Before I let you go, I'm curious, who was your champion? Who helped to inspire you to become the woman that you are today?
My mother, for 100% of the time, I was surrounded by strong women in my family. All of them, my aunt, my grandmother, my mother. My mother changed life, reinvented her life 3 times, from basketball player to economist. From economist, she decided really that what she really wanted to do was to become an actress, and she started when she was 40, and that was a pretty risky move, particularly having a child. But like, in a way, I saw her firsthand. It's not that it was not hard, but I saw her firsthand how she was not going to let fear take the decisions of her life. It's not that she was fearless,
Right.
but she was determined to be able to do what she wanted, not be taken over by fear. So last year, when my mother got COVID, she was fighting COVID 169 days. It was the battle of the century, and I saw her actually just like move and do that transformation of, like moving from fear to love and fear to action. And absolutely, that's the model that I have. It's not that we're not scared many times, but it's just, I don't want anybody to take any fear to take over the decisions of my life. And I don't think that we should as a community either.
Thank you. I love that so much. That's something else that we have in common. I have such admiration and respect for what you are doing, and thank you for taking time.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And I'm so sorry again.
That's okay, Claudia.
All right.
Thank you so much. Before you go, please let everyone know how they can connect with you.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, I want to make sure we do that.
Yes, thank you so very much. If anything I said resonates with you at any given level, at the personal, professional, in your heart, join us. Be part of Hispanic Star. Join a group of people that want to make change. Go to hispanicstar.org. Join the groups get the data, become educated, do, do what you can at the local level. My email is claudia@worldhuman.org, and I'm happy to actually just like get as many people that want to make change be part of change.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you so much, Carmen. Un
Gracias.
abrazo.
Gracias.
Bye.
Adiós. Adiós.
Bye.
Buenas noches, Claudia. And we made it. Thank you so much for staying with us. I do hope that on some level, some of this conversation or all of this conversation resonated with you. And it's not just about being Latina. It's not just about being Hispanic or Latinx. It's not just about being a woman. It is about being and creating a global, thriving community. But we can't achieve that, in my opinion, until we start at this granular level. It starts with you. It starts with you having the confidence and the voice to claim your space on this planet in a positive, non-confrontational way with others. There's room for all of us to shine like these stars, like the Hispanic Star movement. We are all stars. I believe that with all my heart. I appreciate you staying with me through thick and thin, through all the trials and tribulations of doing these lives. I hope that I continue to see you on the third Tuesday of every month. And before I let you go, we will put all this information for the Hispanic Star Initiative onto the Facebook page, the YouTube, all of that. We will put those links on there for you. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank you for your continued support. We had a nice number of people that have been viewing here the whole time. I really appreciate it. Just be sure to like and share and comment, and send us some ideas. And before I forget, we are going to have 2 October webisodes. The third Tuesday, the regular one on the 26th, as well as a special edition webisode with my business coach, all the way from Canada, the fabulous Katie Kay. Until then, I hope that you will continue to learn and grow and thrive and celebrate our Hispanic Heritage Month. And be proud, stay kind, and continue to grow. And if I can help you in just a small little way, that is what I was planning and hoping that these webisodes would do. So thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you twice in October of 2021. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Thanks so much. Bye.